Hey everybody, I am back and today I'm making a review video of every pro and con and some sample photos of the Papershoot camera. So a Papershoot camera is a digital camera that actually is supposed to replicate film/disposable cameras, the photos, without the additional waste, and obviously having it in digital form makes it a little bit easier. Okay, so let's just go on a quick little backstory. I'm going to give you the specs as well and then we'll get into the pros and cons. Also, disclaimer, I am not trying to bash Papershoot by any means. I just think it's important to make an informed decision when making a purchase and knowing every pro and every con when making that purchase. Some of the stuff I wish I knew before I purchased the camera, so I just hope I can provide that information for everybody else. So, all timestamps will be in the description, by the way. So backstory, George Lin is the founder. He is from Taiwan. He wanted a simple yet beautiful camera that anybody can use. George helped his parents by earning money from a very young age. And unfortunately, he doesn't have many photos from his childhood, and he doesn't have any photos of his grandma and his brother that passed away. Just due to finances, they weren't able to afford a camera. That's why he created Papershoot. He wants people to be able to make memories with their families. In October of 2020, Jillian and Jack decided to become distributors, I can never say that word, in Canada. I believe they're in Ottawa, Ontario. I know that my order shipped from in Ontario, and I am also in Ontario, so yeah. And yeah, let's get into the specs. So it has a 13 megapixel CMOS image resolution, automatic exposure, up to 32 gigabytes of memory, a micro USB jack, 4 filters, which are normal, black and white, sepia, and blue. It has only one button on it. It can take time-lapse videos and 10-second videos in 1080p. However, there is a stipulation to that, which I'll get into in my cons. And the length of it is 105 millimeters. The width is 75 millimeters. And the thickness is 12 millimeters. The weight of it is 80 grams with the battery inside. And it takes 2 rechargeable AAA batteries. You can use regular batteries, but you might get error messages, so it's better to get the rechargeable batteries. Return policy is 30 days if it's unused. Okay, so let's just get into the pros and cons. So pros are that it's very easy to use. So you have these 4 filters on the back. There we go. So we have normal, we have black and white, sepia, and blue. I will also show you how to take a picture. So the cameras are very easy to use. You just click. And that's that. And then on the back you'll look up here, so when you take a photo, it normally will just flash, I believe, twice here, but this is the error sound if you don't have a memory card. So, yeah. The size of it's really nice. It's smaller than some smartphones and it weighs less than a smartphone, so I do find it really easy to carry around. It's not heavy if you put it around your neck, so that is great. I bought the plastic version, there's a wood version, there's a cork version, and there are a ton of paper options. Ton meaning probably like 20 of them. So with it being easy to use with the filters, I do love the filters. I love having a normal sepia, blue, and black and white option depending on what environment I'm in and what I'm taking pictures of. You can buy camera lenses separately, or if you purchase one of their premium bundles, a lot of them do come with 2 lenses. So I have the macro lens here and the wide angle lens, which I will show you in a second. They are a small business. They are a sustainable company. Their employees do make enough to live. So they're getting very good wages, especially if you're in Canada, because Lord knows, living on your own is expensive. So they do have good working conditions. So I believe it's their stone paper cases that are biodegradable and they are embedded with seeds. My only concern is what seeds these are and if they are native to certain areas or invasive to certain areas. I would like to find that out, and if I ever do, I will definitely add that into the pinned comment so you guys can know. Each camera sale goes to donating a camera to a child in Taiwan, which is really lovely. They've donated over 10,000 cameras, which is great. You assemble it yourself and you can buy cases separately if you want to. I probably will be purchasing one of the paper cases, mainly because of one of my cons, which once again we'll get into. And their customer service for me has been pretty great. They have responded promptly, which is very nice. They ship from Canada. I'm not sure if the entire company ships from Canada, but for at least I think Canada and the US, it ships from Canada, which I really like. The cameras are very unique and eye-catching, which is really cool. So the memory card is easy to insert and remove. Let me try to do this with showing you guys. So you just stick the memory card in this slot and you just push it in with your nail and it'll click in, and that's all you have to do. So you don't have to take apart the whole camera to take out the memory card, which is obviously really nice. An awesome backstory. And they take rechargeable batteries, which is obviously better for the environment than disposable. And that is that. Some of the cons of the camera. So I actually had purchased this strap, and then on social media they posted that they come with a strap. I debated on returning this. I decided not to until I actually get the camera. And then I got the camera and it did not come with a strap. So there's that. I believe the regular models do come with a strap and some premium models do come with a strap. However, the Cross Vanguard set, which is the clear one, does not come with one. So they said they were going to look into it and see what they can do differently, because yeah, it just seems kind of weird to offer a premium model and like all the other models get a strap with it except for one of the premium ones that costs a bit more than the regular models. Anyways, just seems strange to me. So there's that. Taking videos is really inconvenient. Some people might not find it inconvenient. I personally do. You have to bring a power bank with you and plug it into the actual camera. So that's kind of frustrating because I wanted to take quick 10-second videos to make like a longer video of like, you know, 10-second video of this waterfall, 10-second video of someone like walking, and I like to do that. So I was excited to get this camera and use the video feature, but unfortunately you have to have it plugged into a power bank, which I don't want to bring on a hike, a power bank, and have it plugged in, and it'll be kind of tricky if I want to take certain videos to hold both of them. So yeah, that was definitely a major con, and recently they have been a bit more transparent with that aspect of the video. However, when I purchased it, they did mention it can take video, and they said it a few times on their social media, but they never mentioned that you had to have it plugged into a power bank, nor is it on their website, unless you go under the FAQ. But when you look in the description, it says takes 1080p video, takes 10-second video and time lapse. So that's kind of all I saw. I guess I should have read the FAQ in hindsight, but I didn't, and they weren't very transparent on their social media. They are now, so yeah, you'll probably already know this, but that was a con for me. Here are the lenses. That's what they look like. We got our macro lens and our wide angle lens. So it basically has a little magnet on the back of the lens that you can attach this little metal thing to. And then also it has this like little lens cap. So let me just, it's just not wanting to focus. Anyways, it has this little lens cap. My con with the lenses is that the back and the cap fall off fairly frequently if they're in your pocket. I would imagine if they're in your bag. I've just kept them in my different pockets. I would find, or at least that it would slide off like this, which is kind of exposing the inside of the lens. So I do have a lot of dust in my macro lens, and the macro lens is deeper inside. I don't know if you will be able to see this, but you can't just clean it. So it's a little bit deeper inside and there's lots of dust in there, and I can't get it out just because this would slide off like this in my pocket. If it was in my bag, it would do the same thing, and I picked up like clothing fibers, dust, whatever is in your pocket or your bag. So there's also metal on your camera, and it just magnetizes to your camera. However, it's not super sturdy. That I did knock this off several times and it dropped on hardwood floor. Luckily it has not broken yet, but I don't see a very positive future outcome for my lenses. I would say if you're not currently using the lens and taking a photo, to take it off and put it away. Don't leave it on your camera because you might knock it and it might just fall off and get damaged. So that's just something to note as well. So it's not completely sealed on the sides, so dust does get in here, and they do mention it being water resistant, but I don't see how that's possible when you have your ports for plugging it in and your batteries, and if water just got in here, it would damage the camera. I'm sorry if you hear squeaking noises from a door. I don't know why. My family's coming in and out of the house like 85 times. There it is again. So sorry about that. But yeah, so it is exposed. I know water resistance does not mean waterproof. I'm aware of that. However, even around here, there's like a gap that is exposed. Here, there's a gap. I just don't know what part would be water resistant. They said if it got splashed with water or if like rain got on it, it would be fine, but I just don't see how. Like I could see water going on here, sure, and being fine, but I don't see water going on any other part of the camera and being okay. Like if I went near like a waterfall and it splashed, it could just get in here. I don't know. I just don't see the water resistance being a thing, but I could be wrong. I found the shutter button to be pretty difficult to press, unfortunately. So I would say about 70% of the time I do end up taking the photo, but 30% of the time I didn't press hard enough to take the photo. I don't know if that's a me problem or other people experience it, but I did email them and they said that's normal until it gets broken in, but I'm not sure how that works with plastic opposed to breaking in the paper cases. I would imagine the paper cases being a lot easier to press, but plastic I wouldn't imagine would be. And also, in like cold weather, plastic becomes a lot more brittle and like hard to manipulate. So I don't know how this will fare up in winter when I go to take pictures, if it'll be even harder to press. So that's something I'm definitely curious to see what happens in winter. They did tell me you can use it in winter and go on hikes, but just don't leave it in the cold for like in your car overnight or something like that. It is pretty expensive, not gonna lie. Mine came with 4 of these brass fasteners, 2 lenses, and that was it in the case, I think, and then a plastic set of fasteners. But yeah, it doesn't come with a whole lot, and it's $209. I mean, it makes sense. They're a sustainable company and it's not as accessible to people that have lower incomes. However, the cost of it is cheaper than if you buy film cameras, because over time film is very expensive, especially if you use it for years and years. So as long as this camera does last quite a few years, then this will be a cheaper alternative in the long run, but the cost up front is expensive. This one was $209 for the premium bundle. Once again, didn't come with a strap, but that's fine. And the other ones were $157 is what I wrote down. So yeah, the regular ones are $157, so a bit cheaper. There is no photo count on here. You have no idea how many photos you've taken, and you do not get an error message or a beep when your memory card is full. So there was one day I accidentally put in my full memory card. I thought I had emptied it, but I didn't. So I took photos the entire day. I went on this trip. It was like a big deal for me to go on this like little trip that I went on. I was really excited to get home and see all the photos, because I spent so long taking photos, not actually appreciating the moment as much as I should have, because I was just really excited to use this camera. And I got home and there was not a single photo on my memory card because it was completely full from stuff previously. So yeah, and the thing is, it kept on making the regular shutter noise, so there's absolutely no way of telling. So if you are on vacation, I would find this to be a little bit tricky. You would have to bring a cable that attaches to your phone to constantly empty the memory card. Even if you brought several memory cards, it'd be tricky to know when yours is even full. So the 32 gigabyte memory card does hold up to 700 photos, so you're not gonna count that in your head, be like, oh yeah, I'm at 652 now. Like, I mean, you could, but it might be a little tricky. So yeah, I definitely didn't like that aspect of the camera. I wish it at least had an error beep, because then you could bring a second memory card with you, pop it in, it wouldn't be a big deal, but you really have no idea like what you're at with your photo count. My suggestion would be to put all the photos onto your device and then just delete them off the memory card every single time you use it. But like I said, for a vacation, it might be a little bit trickier. Taking the batteries out is really inconvenient. I mean, you have to take off brass fasteners. There's like an extra little piece that sits in here, and for attaching my straps, I struggle with it every time. It's not a huge deal, but it's just something to note. Some of these things aren't a big deal to me, but just thought I'd mention it in case it is a big deal to you. So you have to buy your memory card and battery separate unless you buy a premium model. Oh yeah, mine came with a 16GB memory card. I forgot to mention that in my bundle, but yeah, you have to buy the memory card and battery separate. Batteries are not sold with any of the cameras, but memory cards are sold with some of the premium models. I'm not sure if all of them, but I know for sure most of them have a memory card with them. But that adds an additional cost. My batteries cost me about $18 for a 8-pack, I believe it was. And a memory card, I think, is about like I forget how much I spent, 20 bucks on a memory card. And then if you want to buy a strap separately, if you buy the Vanguard set and they haven't added the strap in, then you have to spend like $8 on this. So that's like an additional almost like $40-ish on extra accessories to go with it. So that is just something to keep in mind. It's not a major con to me because I knew it going into purchasing the camera, so I had added those additional costs into my head. So if you don't have a lot of money to purchase the camera, you also would have to save up money to purchase the rechargeable batteries, the memory card, and a strap, if you so choose to use one. You don't have to, but I find it easier. The Cross Vanguard case is fairly fragile from what I've heard. I've had mine so far for like a couple weeks and it's done fine, but I have heard of people saying theirs have broken within a couple months, so I'm curious to see how it holds up. But I have seen a few not reviews, but comments on their social media saying that their Vanguard case has broken, so I would say it's a little bit fragile. So the viewfinder has no lens and I find it's not super accurate, so I will look through the viewfinder and take a photo, but my actual range of the photo, I don't know if that's like the terminology I'm going for, but it'll be wider than what I'm seeing through here. So that's not a huge deal for me, but it is something to note and it might be a con for certain people. I thought I came with a little bit too much packaging for a brand that's trying to be sustainable, but that's just me. I'm being a little nitpicky because I like to share literally every con and every pro, so yeah. So the photos, when you upload them to your phone or your iPad or your laptop or wherever you decide to upload them, they are sorted by year 2000 typically, and sometimes just randomly dispersed throughout my camera roll, so it's really hard to find like that day's worth of shots. So my suggestion would be to create an album and to export them into the album, just so you can have the shots all from that day, especially if you go on a vacation and you've taken tons of Papershoot camera photos in the past. You don't want like your vacation photos just all randomly dispersed, because it's kind of frustrating to have to go through and move them all. So that's just a suggestion, but yeah, just kind of is like, where are they? Another con is there's no flash on the camera. I think flash would be a great addition to the camera, especially for extremely like dark conditions. If you were like literally in basically pitch black and you wanted to take a picture of something, you're not going to get the photo with this. It does auto adjust to different lighting. However, yeah, if it's like really, really dark, you probably wouldn't get the photo. A few things I would also like to mention about the lenses that are not pros and cons, but something to note. The macro lens is fairly hard to use. You should really hold it about 2 inches, I believe, or away from your subject. I think that's where I was getting my like better photos, was 2 inches away, but really you have to hold it pretty up close, so it might be 1, 2, or 3 inches. I'd play around with it a little bit, but yeah, it is a little bit tricky to take those photos. And the wide angle lens does distort the sides of the images. That kind of gives them almost a fisheye effect on the sides. I think it looks actually really cool, but you might not like that, but I just wanted to mention it. And I will share photos, macro photos, the different filters and different lighting, and I'm gonna share the wide angle lens so you guys can see literally how everything looks. I do love the camera. I've had a lot of fun taking pictures. I don't regret it. I honestly prefer using the Papershoot camera over my other camera right now. So yeah, I honestly do recommend getting one, but I just wanted to mention the pros and cons just in case something is a major deal breaker for you. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the pictures. I hope you liked this video. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. And I will see you guys around whenever I make another video. It might not be for a couple more months, I don't know, but yeah. Thank you and have a great day. Bye.